Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Sunday Interview. My guest today is a prominent traditional ruler in a kingdom in the southwestern part of Nigeria. He is a successful businessman and, of course, a medical doctor as well. You will be meeting my guest after this time out. I am Azizat Olaoluwa. Stay with us. I'll be right back. Welcome back. My guest today is one of the prominent traditional rulers in Ijebu land. He's a former primary healthcare board chairman in Ogun State and also a former local government chairman. I am talking about the Gbegonde of Ososa. Alayeluwa Oba Dr. Adetoye Alatishe, the Ilufemiloye Ogunroye Gao 6. Thank you for joining us, Alayeluwa.
Thank you very much.
All right, first,
I must congratulate you for that. You really pronounced the name and the title very well.
Thank you very much, Alayeluwa. Now, first off, what is the meaning of Gbegonde?
Well, okay, Gbegonde is the title of the Oba, just like we have Awujale, Alaafin, Olubadan. So the Oba of Ososa's title is Gbegonde. It's derived from a long history. You know, like in this area, Awujale is the royal father of all the Obas. Majorly, most Ijebu Obas, either one way or the other, migrated from Ijebu Ode or were appointed by the Awujale of Ijebu land. The ninth Awujale, the ninth one, which was a long time ago, Oba Ofiran, was the father of the one that became Gbegonde in Ososa. During his reign, the eldest son, whose name is Esiwu, Esiwu is another Yoruba word for somebody that is very handsome, he got really itchy and he wanted to go and take his own land or his own domain. So he went into the palace archive and took the tallest crown. So the crown in those days is called Ide. By the time the father discovered that is the reigning Awujale, he came out to exclaim that Omo Itigbe Egaju Nide. Is this kid that has taken the tallest crown. So Gbe Egaju Nide, Gbe Ide to Gaju, later on became corroborated or corrupted into Gbegonde.
Wow.
That's the meaning of Gbegonde.
Interesting.
And so on his way to Ososa, it's not like he had decided that he's going to Ososa. But you know, when they do that migration in those days, they will be consulting the oracle. And at a point, when they got here, he decided that this is where he was going to stay. Naturally, he met some inhabitants. And the inhabitants, seeing the signs of royalty, he just came out and said, Kabiesi. And then he decided with his followers that this is where they are going to stay. And that is how it came about. That's how some people got their first Kabiesi. Now,
tell me the story surrounding how you emerged the 8th Gbegonde of Ososa. Were you elected or selected and, the build up to it?
The Kabiesi then, I remember, was a very good friend of ours, of our Noyinka, a first-class product of Government College Ibadan. And even in his lifetime, he was a very good person, a very clever person. I remember he used to come around to encourage us. He would come personally to visit us at home that we should come to Ososa. And we were there, we were always giving him support. We had common friends, let me just put it like that. Unfortunately, he died. So everybody was like, what's happening? Then the kingmakers, in their own wisdom, came around to say it was the Ogunroyiga family that is the turn. That was when I began to realize that we actually belong to the Ogunroyiga family. And so I was coming here, to be candid, I was coming here, we felt that we should, as a Alatishe family, seize that opportunity. But within the family, it was a senior brother of mine that was picked because he was interested. I wasn't interested, yes. I wasn't interested as an Oba initially. I was just interested in making sure that we didn't miss the opportunity. So one of our senior brothers who was retired at, I think, Nigerian Air Force, as an engineer, was picked. And then we submitted his name to the kingmakers. But somewhere along the line, you know, I think they put traditional investigation into it and stuff. They came back to say that it's not fit enough. It was shocking to us, particularly my senior brother. Don't forget that in the family, I'm not the eldest. Like I said, I'm number 22. Even from my father's side, I'm number 22. I have senior brothers who are still alive today. Somehow, they sat down and then decided that maybe they should talk to me. So initially, I wasn't interested. I said, look, I got so many other things to do. My site was in Abuja. As a health practitioner, I was a very close friend of Dr. Mohamed Alatishe, who was the executive secretary at the national level. I was looking at taking primary health care to serious level in Ogun State because I knew I could make more impact in the area of health. So I wasn't ready to come and sit down in the village. But then the pressure piled up. And the pressure came from within the family, my close family, my wife, Olori, and everybody was like, look, we have done everything we need to do. I've consulted. Even the dead people also were sending signals. I said, okay, if that is the case, so, because I don't want to offend my father. So I now took the option. I accidentally had to backdate my letter because the family had already put a deadline that anybody who is interested should write a letter. And we've done that. So but when the thing now fell on my lap, to keep the record straight, I had to backdate my own letter of interest. Then we still needed to pass through the hurdle of the kingmakers here in Osa. Wow. So a number of my other brothers were interested as well, you know, but you know, at the end of the day, I was selected by the kingmakers.
What religion do you practice?
I'm a Muslim.
And you still practice?
Yes.
And you're comfortable with the tradition and everything?
By Yoruba tradition, they tell you Oba has no religion. I don't think that is true. Okay. What it only means is that an Oba must believe in all the religions. And seriously speaking, I don't even think that is meant for an Oba alone. All religions are divine by God. And when if we want to go into that, then we must start talking about Chinese religion, Buddhism, and things like that. I'm a devout Muslim, but I go to church when I need to go to church. And this traditional religion, in which I believe in so much. And that's why I'm a custodian of the culture and tradition. I always tell some of my colleagues that you don't need to be an Oba if you don't believe in culture and tradition.
Okay. Now, as a prince, how was growing up like for you?
Well, growing up was like a normal boy. First of all, I never even knew when we were young that I'm a prince, because we grew up in Ijebu-Ode. When our forebearers migrated to Ijebu-Ode town, we all thought that we were from Ijebu-Ode, but for the sake of my own father, who knew all along that we were from Osusa, so he had always come back here. He will come back here not just annually. We have a day we call December 26th, it's Alatishe Day. And up to today, we are still celebrating December 26th. All Alatishe sons and daughters will come to Osusa. We go to our family house and we celebrate that day. We pray to our forebearers and we actually invite all the three religion practitioners. We'll do the Islamic one, followed by the Christian one, and finally by the traditional religion. And everybody eats thereafter. But what is interesting was that when my father was old, you know, people would sit down with their elderly people and then we ask questions and stuff. You know, don't forget the fact that we are also a Balogun family in Ijebuland. My father was at one time the Balogun. In fact, the longest Balogun that reigned in Ijebu from 61 to 1995. My father died in 1995. And so we had questions for my dad. And so I remember that what he said was that, look, it's only a rich man that will continue the tradition of horse riding, which incidentally my family still do on an annual basis. We go and greet Awujale as one of the Baloguns. But that also, sir, we must not drop also, sir. We must go to Ososa regularly and annually. He never knew that it would ever come around because, you know, we have 4 ruling houses. But as fate will have it, when it came to the Ogunoyega family of which I belong, then the responsibility fell in our lap. And that's how I became Brigonde.
Okay. Were you an adventurous child?
I think I was more of an adventurous because, you know, I traveled all over the world when I was very young and I was going to medical school. And I am always interested. I also remember that in secondary school, I always liked to play the role of Oba. You know, when we have drama shows, I will insist that I will play the role of Oba. It's just out of fun because I know an Oba will be given an Olori. So just the fact that there will be an Olori sitting next to me. Okay,
now let's talk about your family. You briefly talked about your parents. So how many wives did your dad marry? How many kids? And then your own family, how many wives and how many children?
No. My father was a well-known businessman. And like I said earlier on, he was at one time the Otun Balogun of Ijebuland. That was when Balogun Shoye, who was his personal friend, was the Balogun. And when Shoye died, incidentally, in the 60s, early 60s, the honors fell on my dad to become the Balogun of Ijebuland. So my father had a lot of wives. I don't think I can put my finger on the numbers. Suffice to say, more than 6.
Okay.
That's my father. And so, it was a large family, large polygamous family, but we were all treated like as if we were from the same mother. We love each other, particularly my father's children.
So you had many siblings?
I have so many. I can tell you some of them that are still alive today. Sister Alaja, Mrs. Irat Balogun, who was the Attorney General of Lagos State during the era of, I think it's Mudashiru. You know, a naval officer, was the governor of Lagos State. And sister is still there today. She's alive.
Okay.
So we have so many of them. You know, like I said, I have a senior brother, Dr. Moses. He's still alive. All of them are in Lagos or thereabout. So my father, and he loved all his children equally. And we also love him very much. So, that one I can assure you.
So what about you? Do you have Olori or Oloris?
Yeah, me, I have only one Olori. I tell you, my Olori has been with me now 46 years.
Wow.
You won't believe it, yeah? Because she's been in our family when she was in class 3 from secondary school. So we've been together. They say Obas must have more than one wife. I'm not too sure I can cope. I would really have loved to keep the tradition. Yes, that's a fact, because I say it publicly. But what I tell people who are interested is that, look, this thing is very simple. You know, in a village like this, when you come, you must quickly let people know your position. I said, look, anybody who wants to become an Olori must be ready to go through my Olori. Once you write an application and she approves, the palace is very big. But up to today,
is there a woman really that would agree to?
No, I think it is the people who are afraid to write application, because she hasn't told me that anybody brought an application yet.
Okay.
So.
And the children?
Yeah, we are blessed with 3 children, professionals, 1 doctor, a computer analyst, a finance and an expert as well.
Wow. Now, what is your favorite meal?
Meal?
Yes.
Okay. On doctor's advice, I don't take Gary too much. But I take jollof. I like jollof rice, dodo, and fresh fish. But really, I would have loved to be taking garri every day. But you know...
Because you're from Ijebu.
Yes.
Is that why?
And it's not just because I'm from Ijebu. I think it's still the best food in the whole world.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, I have some more questions for you, but we just have to go on a short break at this time. All right, stay with us. We need to go on a short break now. My guest is still the Gbegonde of Ososa, Alayeluwa Oba Dr. Adetoye Alatishe. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. My guest is still the Gbegonde of Ososa, Oba Alayeluwa, Dr. Adetoye Alatishe. Thank you for staying with us on the show. Now, it's been 8 years since you ascended the throne of your forefathers. How has it been so far?
Well, you know, it's interesting when you say 8 years, because I always like to think it's like yesterday. Because 8 years really could be a landmark in the history of man. But considering the way we have passed through the 8 years, it looks like it's been so fast. I must confess that sometimes I need to even pinch myself to believe that we spent 8 years. When we did the coronation anniversary a few weeks ago, I made mention of the fact that 8 years was like 8 days. But we thank God, it has been, I don't want to say it has been very easy, but it has been a time that has been full of activities in development, and we praise God, because I cannot say that it is all because of my own power, but I think it is because this is where God wanted us to be.
Are you satisfied with the role Obas are now playing in contemporary Nigeria?
That's a very good one, and I must tell you, I'm not satisfied at all. And that is because, with the benefit of having sat down with people like our fathers, Kabesi, Oba Dr. Sikiru Adetoye, the Awujale of Ijebuland, we found that it was not like that before. In the other republic, maybe the first republic, let's put it like that, when Obas actually had a constitutional role in governance. And I'm not too sure that unless and until we go back to that type of government, we will be able to sort it out in Nigeria. Don't forget that the meaning of Ijoba in Yoruba is the Ijo Awon Oba. And today, when we say Ijoba, we talk of local government council who have virtually no influence on their area of governance. At the state level, you just have one man calling the shots. If Obas had constitutional roles, the effect of governance will be felt more in their local government and in their township. Because Obas are supposed to love their people. They are the custodian of their culture. They brought this democracy now, but we refuse to Nigerianize our democracy. And that is the major problem. Starting from swearing in of elective officers with Bible and Quran. And they end up doing all sorts of things. Nobody will be sworn into office in the traditional way and will misbehave. Even now, people will not swear in court if you use traditional instruments to ask them to swear. So for us, we need to look at all these other climes that we have copied. They have their own peculiarity. For instance, what we will regard as normal here is never regarded as normal in USA. People will be asked to resign for things that Nigerians will just, what is that? The average Nigerian will commit adultery or whatever it is, or even theft, and he will go back to his village. He will be received as a hero. But in other climes, where we have copied their own type of government, he will not even dare go back. He will have resigned straight on television. So we need to go back and look at what is good for us in Nigeria, and then to see if we can marry that into modern democracy. I am of the opinion that Obas all over the country must have constitutional. Well, don't forget that Obas don't just drop from heaven. First of all, they also go through some kind of selective election or democracy to get on the throne. And if they are not loved by their people, it is immediately obvious. When our representative is misbehaving, nobody has any control. Not even the Obas have control over them. Not to talk of the electorate, they just have to wait. And even in the process of waiting, when it comes around again next time around with bags of money and bread, he may even get back elected, which is happening all the time. But if Obas are given constitutional role, and I believe strongly that it has to be done, things will be different at the rural level. Because then, what they call constituency allowances, for instance, if I have constituency allowance in Onsa, our roads will not be like that. I can tell you our roads will not be like that. A number of Obas spend their own private fund in doing so many things in their society. Onsa is a typical example. When we got here, we built a doctor's quarter, a big nurse's quarter for them at the health center. I, on a regular basis, pay stipends to the doctor that is working in the health center. Yes. My people will tell you that. And I do that with all love. I don't even feel anything, because rather than me, as a doctor, going to be doing removing second twin, retain placenta, and all that kind of stuff that I was doing initially when I came, we now had an opportunity to get a younger doctor. Not only will he learn from me, he also will assist our people at all stages. But I tell you, I'm not totally satisfied.
Okay, so what is the relationship between you and the paramount ruler of Ijebuland, Awujale, is like?
My relationship is like father and son. Baba is the one that actually, I've been a palace person, let me just put it like that, from when I was very young. And my parents were alive. When they go to Awujale's palace, don't forget that Baba has been on the throne now. See, 58 years. So that's a long time. If you take 58 years out of my age, what is left? So I've always been a palace person. And for whatever reason, I think it is just by divine intervention that I became Great Grand Officer. So Baba is like my father. I have very good relationship, and he listens. As old as he still listens to us, his children. And then when he has issues, he will call us. We will go there, sit down with him, and discuss with him. And if he has a message also to pass to the people, sometimes he will call us and we do what we need to do. In the past few days, social activities have been so tremendous that he cannot afford to go to all the events. So we'll call some of us, say, we're going there. We'll represent member. We'll represent member. Then we go, we come back, and it's just that the civilization has gotten an effect on tradition. And I must say this for the sake of those who are listening to us, that to invite an Oba to an occasion, there are procedures. These days, a number of people are interested in KBSs coming to their wedding, coming to their naming ceremony, without due respect to tradition. For instance, Obososa, I say, make bold to say that we not eat outside, no matter what is the situation or celebration. So you expect me to come to your party, and then they will now come around and be saying, hello, baby, no. It's very embarrassing. So if somebody knew all along, you will have done what you need to do. The mere fact that I attend the occasion is enough honor. And that honor must be reciprocated.
In what manner?
Well, that's why the person must come to the palace and see people like Ajiroba and say, look, I want to invite Baba to my naming ceremony. And then Ajiroba will tell him or her what to do.
Okay, do you drink alcohol?
I'm a social drinker, let's put it like that. I will drink when there's a toast to drink to. But you don't forget that here we have a tradition where you pray all the time for people. And part of the instruments we use to pray is also water and alcohol. Okay. And you must taste it. So, I'm into that.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Music?
Who is your favorite musician?
My favorite musician? That menu. I don't think I have one.
Okay.
No, if you say one, I don't want to be partial, but I like Tiwa Savage.
Really?
Yeah.
You just shocked me, Alailua.
No,
I was expecting you to mention older musicians.
I like Tiwa Savage. I like all these shaku shaku guys.
Really?
Yeah, I dance shaku shaku. If we have any engagement here, and I don't make moves, my people will not like it though. They'll be telling me, Yahoo say.
So we have a dancing senator. So can I officially say that Nigeria has a dancing king as well?
You can say that, but I don't think I'm the only. All kings must know how to dance. Oh. I think all kings must know how to dance. It's traditional. When we do anything here, part of it is Bedu. The Bedu drummers will be there. After the official ceremony, I must take a few royal steps. Thank you very much for featuring on our show today, Alayeluwa. Of course, that's how the show has been. The guest this week was the Gbegonde of Ososa, Alayeluwa, about Dr. Adetoye, Alatishe, the Ilufemiloye Ogunoyega 6, of course, like I said, the Gbegonde of Ososa in Ijebuland. For your inquiries, send all of them to the Sunday interview at tvsunews.tv. And until I come your way next week, I am Azizat Olaoluwa. Bye for now.